Confirming they're investigating the Trump campaign. Did aides to candidate Trump coordinate with the Russians? Plus, Director Comey shooting down President Trump's assertion, saying there is no evidence President Obama wiretapped Trump Tower. Tonight, the White House firing back. Also breaking at this hour, security crackdown. The airline banning most electronics from carry-on luggage. Is there a new terror threat affecting U.S. air travel? Manhunt. The high school teacher accused of kidnapping his teenage student. Authorities say he's armed and dangerous. Tonight, the new images police want you to see. Officer on trial, opening fire after a police chase. A 6-year-old boy shot in the front seat. His father with his hands in the air. And mystery solved? Tom Brady's stolen Super Bowl jersey, the new surveillance video, and a big break in the case.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
And good evening on this Monday night. I'm Tom Yamas in for David tonight, and we begin with that high drama on Capitol Hill. Major revelations about the White House, Russian hacking, and those claims about wiretapping. FBI Director James Comey in an extraordinary move, confirming publicly for the first time that the agency is investigating Russia's attempt to influence the election and possible links to members of President Trump's campaign team. Director Comey also breaking his silence 16 days after the president's explosive tweets confirming there is no proof that President Obama ordered wiretaps at Trump Tower. But despite Comey's statement, the president is still standing by his claim. ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas starting us off from Washington tonight.
Tonight, stunning revelations from the FBI director.
I have been authorized by the Department of Justice to confirm that the FBI, as part of our counterintelligence mission, is investigating the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election.
James Comey finally going public and confirming there is an ongoing investigation, now in its 7th month, into Russia's meddling, including possible collusion by Trump campaign associates.
That includes investigating the nature of any links between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government, and whether there was any coordination between the campaign and Russia's efforts.
It took 30 minutes to get to the other elephant in the room, Comey refuting Trump's accusations in a series of tweets 16 days ago that as a candidate he was wiretapped by President Obama.
Director Comey, was the president's statement that Obama had his wires tapped in Trump Tower a true statement?
I have no information that supports those tweets, and we have looked carefully inside the FBI. The Department of Justice has asked me to share with you that the answer is the same for the Department of Justice and all its components. The department has no information that supports those tweets.
President Obama could not unilaterally order a wiretap of anyone.
No president could.
Directly disputing that tweet, quote, Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower. But much of the more than 5 hours of testimony focused on Russian meddling, Comey testifying the Russians were motivated in part by animosity toward one candidate.
Putin hated Secretary Clinton so much that the flip side of that coin was he had a clear preference for the person running against the person he hated so much.
And according to Comey, they made no attempt to cover their trail.
They were unusually loud in their intervention. It's almost as if they didn't care that we knew what they were doing or that they wanted us to see what they were doing. I mean, they'll be back in 2020, they may be back in 2018.
Much of the emphasis on disclosures about former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's conversations with the Russian ambassador that led to his resignation. One Republican all but pointing fingers at the previous administration as the source of the leaks.
Would Director Brennan have access to an unmasked U.S. citizen's name?
In some circumstances, yes.
Would National Security Advisor Susan Rice have access to an unmasked U.S. citizen's name?
I think yes, in general, and any other national security advisor would.
But unlike today's disclosure of the Russian investigation, the FBI director refusing to say whether those leaks are also under investigation.
I can't, but I hope people watching know how seriously we take leaks of classified information, but I don't want to confirm it by saying that we're investigating it. And I'm sorry I have to draw that line. I just think that's the right way to be.
Comey himself acknowledging his extraordinary testimony.
Our practice is not to confirm the existence of ongoing investigations, especially those investigations that involve classified matters.
But he's the same FBI director who vaulted to fame for his public disclosures about Hillary Clinton's email investigation that some Democrats feel derailed her campaign.
And Pierre joins us live tonight. Pierre, we now know definitively there were two investigations during the election, one involving Hillary Clinton and her emails, and one involving Trump campaign associates that is still ongoing. Why did it take until now for Comey to speak about the investigation involving the Trump campaign?
Tom, there was so much public interest in the case, they said they simply had to acknowledge that there was an ongoing investigation.
Pierre Thomas for us tonight. Pierre, thanks so much. Next to the White House reaction, despite what you just heard from the FBI director, President Trump's aides are doubling down on that wiretapping claim. The president ignoring questions during a photo op with the Iraqi prime minister. And the White House also playing down that Russia investigation and distancing themselves tonight from some of the campaign staff. ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl at the White House tonight.
The White House is digging in, refusing to back down from President Trump's phone tapping allegations, despite the FBI director's testimony today contradicting the president.
He said that there's no information to support the allegations that the president made against President Obama.
At this time.
So is the president prepared to withdraw that accusation and apologize to the president?
No, we started a hearing. It's still ongoing.
As for the president himself, no comment when we tried to ask about it. And just this morning, President Trump blamed the Democrats, saying they, quote, made up the Russia story. Tonight, the White House is also saying there is nothing to the FBI director's revelation that he is investigating possible coordination between the Trump campaign and Russian interference in the election.
Investigating it and having proof of it are two different things.
Now the White House is distancing itself from former Trump campaign operatives caught up in the FBI review, including former campaign chairman Paul Manafort, brought up several times in today's hearing.
Paul Manafort, the campaign manager for the Trump campaign at the time, Paul Manafort.
And then obviously there's been this discussion of Paul Manafort, who played a very limited role for a very limited amount of time. But beyond...
He was the chairman of the campaign.
Hey, Jonathan, hold on. Can you stop interrupting other
Paul
people's
Manafort didn't play a limited role.
Jonathan, somebody's asking a question. It's not your press briefing.
In fact, Manafort was on the Trump campaign for nearly 5 months.
I also want to thank my staff. Paul, Corey, Hope. I mean, these people, what we've been doing has been incredible.
And he ran the Republican convention. Meanwhile, the White House is still supporting the FBI director, at least for now.
Does the president still have complete confidence in FBI Director Comey?
There's no reason to believe he doesn't at this time.
And tonight, Paul Manafort denying any contact with Russia. John joining us live now. John, so much to get to tonight. The director of the FBI publicly contradicting President Trump. How does this affect the president going forward with his agenda?
Well, having the FBI director directly contradicting the president and also investigating the president's campaign will undoubtedly be a source of tension and distraction, a source of tension that will be there as long as Jim Comey is the director of the FBI.
And John, we also understand late word tonight of another Trump working in the West Wing.
That is right. We have a situation where Ivanka Trump, according to her attorney, will be having an office in the West Wing, government-issued communications devices, and a security clearance so that she can receive classified information. We are told that the president's daughter will not have a formal role or a salary, but clearly a bigger role in the West Wing.
And working right alongside her father. All right, John, thanks so much. Next to another high-stakes hearing on Capitol Hill, this one for that Supreme Court spot that has been vacant for more than a year. Nominee Neil Gorsuch getting a cordial welcome, speaking from the heart in a very emotional introductory remark. But he faces tough questioning ahead. ABC's Terry Moran covers the Supreme Court for us.
Judge Neil Gorsuch in the crosshairs today, but cool under fire, even having some fun. For the most part, though, Judge Gorsuch just had to sit and smile and listen to the senator's statements, Republicans praising him.
I know from my own personal experience that you're one of the best judges in the country.
And Democrats challenging him, demanding to know if he could rule against President Trump if the FBI probe into links between Russia and the Trump campaign comes before the court.
The possibility of the Supreme Court needing to enforce a subpoena against the president is no longer idle speculation.
Then it was Gorsuch's turn.
Adieu.
And he got personal, thanking his wife.
I love you so much.
Emotionally remembering a beloved uncle who died last month.
A hero of mine. And a lifelong Episcopal priest.
And he praised the judges he called his mentors, including the one he would replace, Justice Scalia.
Now, we didn't agree on everything. The justice fished with the enthusiasm of a New Yorker. He thought the harder you slapped the line on the water, somehow more the fish would love it.
Lots of laughs from that hearing. Terry Moran joins us from the Supreme Court. Terry, it was a day to get to know Judge Gorsuch, but what are his chances of confirmation?
Well, Tom, the Democratic base is spoiling for a fight, furious over what happened to President Obama's nomination for this seat, Merrick Garland, who never even got a hearing. Democrats think they can portray Judge Gorsuch as too friendly to corporate interests, not good for working men and women. But the effort has been kind of scattershot, low intensity, and as we saw today, Gorsuch has a genial and disarming personality. Hard to portray him as a judicial villain. Tom?
All right, Terry Moran will be there every step of the way with this confirmation. Terry, thank you. Overseas tonight, a new provocation from North Korea. Kim Jong-un watching the ground test of a new type of rocket engine, calling it a revolutionary breakthrough. In the background, his threats to reduce the United States to a, quote, heap of ashes. President Trump weighing in.
At meetings on North Korea, he's acting very, very badly. I will tell you, he's acting very badly.
And with the president, as he discussed those intense tensions, New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft returning from Mar-a-Lago with him there on Air Force One. Back here now to some breaking news about airline security. Word that at least one airline has orders from the U.S. government to ban all electronics except cell phones in the cabin. Is a terror threat prompting the move? ABC's David Curley on what we're learning tonight.
This, a hole blown through a jetliner by a laptop, is the worry for U.S. security officials tonight. The U.S. reportedly ready to ban electronic devices from the cabins of jetliners arriving from certain airports. The news revealed in a tweet by Royal Jordanian Airlines apologizing to its customers, saying electronic devices will be strictly prohibited. That, according to the airline, covers laptops, tablets, cameras, DVD players, and electronic games, not phones or medical devices. One source telling ABC News the ban will apply to nearly a dozen countries and airports in the Middle Eastern region.
And what's likely happened is that the government, the U.S. government, has developed some intelligence that a group or individual has developed some type of device that they can get onto an airplane using a laptop or some other electronic appliance.
A little more than a year ago, it was a laptop with explosives that detonated shortly after takeoff in a Somali jetliner, blowing a hole in the fuselage, immediately depressurizing the cabin.
And David joins us live now. David, do we know what prompted this new security procedure? Is there some type of terror threat out there?
Well, this has been a threat they've been concerned about for a couple of years, and yes, there is new intelligence, according to sources, that potential terrorists may have perfected the technology putting explosives in these devices, Tom.
David Curley for us tonight. David, thanks so much. Next, we turn to a big story we've been following here, the desperate search for a teacher accused of kidnapping his 15-year-old student. The pair now missing for a week, and tonight the girl's heartbroken family is begging for her return, along with the teacher's wife, who is pleading with him to turn himself in. ABC's Eva Pilgrim is in Tennessee tonight.
Tonight, police are releasing new images in their search for a missing Tennessee teen and the former teacher accused of kidnapping her.
We have imminent concern for Elizabeth Thomas's well-being right now.
50-year-old suspect Tad Cummings is seen in a store days before their disappearance where he appears to have picked up women's hair dye. Police say the teacher plotted her abduction at least a week before. Surveillance video capturing Cummings filling up his Nissan at a gas station. But the only trace since, a cell phone ping in Alabama.
Please come home to us.
Tonight, the girl's father says his daughter told a sibling the day she left to call police if she wasn't home by 6 p.m.
I don't think she's responsible for what happened. She's 15 years old.
The father says even after another student claimed they witnessed Mr. Cummings kissing Beth Thomas and reported it to school officials, the teacher was still at the school. School officials say Cummings denied an inappropriate relationship with his 15-year-old student. He wasn't suspended until after the father hired an attorney. The teacher's wife making her own desperate plea.
Tad, this is not you.
This is not who you are. We can help you get through this.
Investigators think the two are likely staying out of the public eye, but do think they are still in the U.S. Tom?
Eva Pilgrim covering that manhunt tonight. Eva, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Monday. The officer on trial, opening fire after a police chase. A 6-year-old boy shot in the front seat, his father with his hands in the air. Tonight, the video jurors were shown. And news tonight on that deadly house fire bomb. 2 teenagers killed. The new developments just in. And the break in the case of Tom Brady's stolen Super Bowl jersey. Surveillance video of a possible suspect and police following this case all the way south of the border.
This is not a video game. This is not a screensaver. This is the destruction of a